Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into an important rule from the National Electrical Code, NEC 110.6, which is all about conductor sizes. This rule may sound technical, but don't worry, we'll explain it in simple terms. Let's jump right in. NEC 110.6 is a rule that tells us how the size of electrical conductors or the wires that carry electricity should be measured and expressed. Now, why does this matter? Well, the size of the wire is crucial because it determines how much electricity can safely carry. If a wire is too small for the amount of electricity it has to carry, it could overheat and cause a fire. So getting the right size wire is super important for safety. The goal of NEC 110.6 is to standardize how wire sizes are measured. It ensures that everyone, from electricians to engineers, is on the same page when it comes to how big or small the wire should be. This way, we can make sure that the wires used in electrical systems are safe, efficient, and fit for their intended purpose. Imagine you are designing a new electrical system or installing an appliance. If the wire is too small for the amount of electricity, it might overheat. On the flip side, if the wire is too large, it can be unnecessarily expensive and difficult to work with. So this rule helps keep everything in balance, ensuring safety and cost effectiveness. Now let's talk about how to measure the size of the wire. There are two main methods. The American wire gauge, AWG. This is the most common way to express wire size, especially in homes and commercial buildings. The larger the AWG number, the larger the wire. For example, a 24 American wire gauge is a very thin wire, while 10 American wire gauge is a much thicker wire. So when you see a wire labeled 12 American wire gauge, you know it's thicker than the wire labeled 18 American wire gauge. The thicker wire, the more electricity it can carry. As American wire gauge number gets smaller, the wire gets thicker and it can handle more electrical current. The second way to measure a wire size is by using circular mills. Now, this method is a little more technical and is often used for larger industrial wires. Circular mills measure the area of the wire cross-section. It's a bit like measuring the area of a circle, but with a unit called a mil, which is 1/1000th of an inch. Here's an example. A wire with 1000 circular mils has a cross-sectional area of 1000 mils. This method is mostly used for large wires, like those in power transmission lines or large industrial setups. It's not super common in your home wiring, but it's crucial for certain large electrical systems. The size of the wire is incredibly important because it tells us how much electricity the wire can carry without becoming a safety hazard. If the wire is too small for the electrical load, the amount of electricity flowing through it, the wire could overheat. And when wires overheat, that's a major fire risk. On the other hand, if the wire is too large, it's unnecessary. It might cost more and be harder to handle. Let's say you are wiring your home and you need to install an outlet to power your washing machine. You'd likely use 12 American wire gauge wire, which is a typical size for a 15 amp circuit, which is what many household appliances use. Now, if you're powering a stove, which requires more electricity, you'd likely need a thicker wire, say 10 American wire gauge, because it can safely handle more current. But if you tried to use a 24 American wire gauge for the stove, it would be way too thin and the wire would overheat. Not only could it damage your stove, but it would also be a risk of starting a fire. This NEC rule is important because it ensures that the right wire size is used for each situation. Based on the amount of electricity the wire needs to carry, using the wrong wire size could cause a fire, damage equipment, or even result in dangerous electrical failure. By following this standard for conductor sizing, electricians and engineers can make sure that the electrical systems are safe, reliable, and efficient. So to wrap it all up, NEC 110.6 specifies how to express the size of electrical conductors using American wire gauge or circular mills. American wire gauge is more common method for residential and commercial wiring. And remember, the larger the American wire gauge number, the smaller the wire. The size of the wire is crucial because it determines how much electricity the wire can safely carry. If the wire is too small, it can overheat and cause fires or damage. By following these guidelines, we can ensure that electrical systems are safe and efficient. So always make sure you are using the right wire size for your electrical projects. So here are the key things to remember for this article. American wire gauge and circular mills are two ways to measure wire size. The larger the American wire gauge number, the smaller the wire. Using the correct wire size prevents overheating, fires, and damage to your electrical system. By making sure your wires are the right size, you're helping keep your electrical system safe and running smoothly. Thanks for watching, and stay safe when working with electricity.